Welcome to the third and final part of my Ultimate Nintendo Switch collection, and this time we're looking at third-party titles. And the Nintendo Switch has a wealth of third-party and indie titles that make collecting fun. Now, the first-party titles, they are the bread and butter, and I do think a lot of people do have a negative outlook on Nintendo's third-party offerings, but believe me, the Nintendo Switch has a ton of fantastic titles that you might have missed out on, and let's have a look at them, shall we? The next pile is basically my indies plus other games. A lot of these games, like third-party stuff, are games that I think are probably worth picking up because I think a lot of these kind of go under the radar. First up is Clash of Heroes Might and Magic. Fantastic puzzle game that was on the Nintendo DS. And again, a really good one. Again, another one I started when I was on holiday, maybe about a year ago, and just never went back to. Honestly, it's a really good one. I really recommend picking this one up and getting in the collection. It's kind of like a, it's like a kind of a strategy game where you've got like these little armies, but you've got to kind of connect the blocks together and then use them to do abilities and attacks to attack the enemy. It's really good. It's a really decent one. Kind of drags on a little bit the story mode, but I really enjoyed it. Next up is Hotline Miami 1 and 2. I really like these games. These are so good. I never really got into it when it first came out, but yeah, this is a fantastic release. Definitely, it's also fairly cheap as well. Next up is Signalis. I bought this again very cheap, and I think it's quite expensive now. This is a horror game, and yeah, I haven't played it, but I've heard nothing but great games. Have you played it? Let me know. Should I check this one out next? Next up is a triple pack, and that is Castlevania Advance Collection. Now, these are the games that I grew up with. I played Symphony of the Night, and then I went on to the Advance Collection, which is basically Castlevania Circle of the Moon, Aria of Sorrow, and come up with the other one, Harmony of Dissonance, along Dracula X. Now, Circle of the Moon was the one I really played, which is why I bought this version of it. But yeah, it's good parts of them, or okay parts of them, I suppose. I love this franchise, I really do. I don't think it gets enough love these days, but yeah, it's a fantastic one. Next up is a reimagining of one of my favourite games of all time, and that is Baccaru. Now, this is basically the spiritual successor to Mystical Ninja, a franchise that I absolutely adored on the N64. But yeah, I played through this at the start of the year, and it was a lot of fun. Not going to be for everybody, but it is a lot of fun, and I think, again, this one's going to be fairly expensive come a few years, and it hits all of these underrated classics and stuff like that. Untitled Goose Game, a very fun game where you play as an obnoxious goose. Little Big Adventures, Twinson's Quest. Now, this is a remake of one of my favourite PC games of all time, and it's a good remake. It fixes a lot of the tanky controls, and Little Big Adventure was very unique. I will get into it in the near future because there's a few things I can talk about with this franchise. But yeah, this is a decent one. I really am happy with this re-release of it. We've got a few cardboard ones here, so we'll not get into them too much because I have covered them on other ones. And that story's from Saul the Gundog, a visual novel that harks back to the PC Engine days, and Art of Rally Deluxe Edition. It's car racing, well, it's rally racing. Couldn't get into it, but a lot of people seem to really like it. Next up is Katamari Reroll and Royal Reverie. I do need to pick up the other Katamari. I think I've got for the PlayStation, but not the Switch. This was a game exclusive for a long time, and then it kind of wasn't. It went cheap, but I bought it full price. But I played through the whole thing. I love it. Katamari is one of my favourite games of all, like franchises of all time. It is a really good one. Klonoa. Interesting. So I never grew up with Klonoa, and yeah, this is, if you got a kid who's just getting into video games, this one, it needs to be on the list. I haven't checked the prices for it, but this was super cheap. But I've got a feeling like, just like every other Klonoa title, it's going to get expensive eventually. I wasn't really hugely into this one, if I'm perfectly honest, but I think if I was a bit younger, or if I really just wanted a side-scrolling platformer at the time, I would have enjoyed this a little bit more. But yeah, this is one of the ones I picked up when I first started collecting Nintendo Switch again. Wizardry. I can't really talk about this one since I'm going to do a whole video on it. This is actually relates to a light novel I'm reading called Blade and Bastard. But yeah, this is kind of, Wizardry is kind of the precursor to a lot of JRPGs and RPGs and stuff like that. So it's important for historic sake, but I've never touched it myself. I've watched people play it, but yeah. Gal Guardian's Demon Purge. Again, I don't know much about this one. This one looked like another kind of beat 'em up kind of game with animated visuals. I know there's a Gal gun which I think will appear on this list. I can't remember if I picked one up very cheap, but yeah, this one, it was another one that I picked up at some point. Addiction, the game. It's a great game. It's a really great game. I'm not going to get too into it, but yeah, I love this. Really love this game. SNK 40th anniversary. You know what? I didn't grow up with SNK. I didn't grow up with Neo Geo. I didn't grow up with Street Fighter and the like. So I don't have that nostalgia for it. But yeah, this one, I'd like to pick up as many of these like collections as much as I can, because there's always something, at least one game on there. And this one was fairly cheap a few months ago, so I picked it up. The other franchise I have a few of is One Piece. Now, I am a huge One Piece fan. It has always been my favourite manga. It's been my favourite anime for years. Games, not so much. Now, Red is a re-release of the 3DS/Wii U version of One Piece Unlimited Red. I got it because, again, this is another one I was like, this is going to be expensive eventually. I think it's moderately priced at the moment. But these two, so we've got One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 and 4. It's another Muso, it's another Warriors game, but they're good. I love Pirate Warriors 3. And then Pirate Warriors 4 came out, and I was so excited, but it is a downgrade just about everything. A lot of the characters that were in here kind of got cut, and then they kind of just skipped like other stuff, and yeah, this one was kind of okay. It's expensive though, on the Switch it's getting to be quite expensive, which is quite surprising. But yeah, this was the game, like straight up when COVID first started, this was the game that kind of like released, and I was like, oh yeah, it's the first game after COVID. I think it got delayed and all kinds, and it wasn't worth the time. Next up we have sim games, building games, kind of. We've got Project High Rise, Architects Edition, and Civilization 6. Yeah, the fun little games. This one chugs a little bit, but this one I really like. This was another cheap one. At least it was cheap. I think I paid like £5 for it a few years ago, so yeah, I'll have a look and see what the price is on CX and put it on the screen for this one. But yeah, this one was super cheap, so maybe I'll do a discount Switch collecting video at some point, because there's a lot of cheap ones. This one isn't a simulation, but it's in here with them. Stardew Valley, absolutely fantastic game. I played this on the Switch one years ago. I downloaded it, but yeah, I bought the physical once I could. This is the Fan Gamer edition. I think this is getting fairly pricey now as well. A lot of these Fan Gamer ones are. But yeah, this is a fantastic title. I'm not going to get too much into this one because I have covered it a few times on the channel. Against the Storm, I'm really addicted to this one at the moment. It is a really fun little release. Against the Storm, you kind of exploring all these uncharted territories while building a city. Next up is Let's Build a Zoo, plus Dinosaur Island. I don't remember actually having this DLC, if I'm honest. I thought I just had the regular base game. I played a lot of this. This is very much Zoo Tycoon in the pixelated form. You can build your zoo, you can combine these animals into two more unique animals, just like in Jurassic Park, I suppose. And yeah, it's fun. It chugs a little bit on the Nintendo Switch. I think the map's a lot smaller as well. But again, this one was really cheap, but I think it's fairly expensive. Oh, it's going up in price now, so yeah. Next one is one of my favourite games of all time here, Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic. Now, this is a port of the Android version. Now, the Android version you can get for next to nothing. This is full price, well, I'll say full price, £20–25. But it's Roller Coaster Tycoon. It's one of those titles where I always said, I want this, I really want this as a title released on the Nintendo Switch. And because they did, I felt I had to buy it. And next up is a new inclusion, and that's 2 Point Campus Enrollment Edition. Chugs a little bit, but I'm having a good time with it. I want to get 2 Point Hospital, but I'm looking for the Jumbo Edition. So yeah, this one's always cheap, and it's a good enough title. I don't know how better the PlayStation version is, but if you've got PlayStation 5, it might be worth picking it up on there. But these games all work as well. These games are all pretty good versions on the Nintendo Switch as well. Obviously you don't have mod support, but they do play it, and I feel like a big problem years ago is that a lot of these games, like simulation type games or city building games, didn't really work on consoles, and now they do. At least in my opinion they do. Next up we have the Ace Attorney games, and honestly I love these ones. Again, Phoenix Wright is a very key defining game for me. It's one that if I didn't cosplay as Phoenix Wright one time, I wouldn't have met a lot of people that I know and I'm friends with. But yeah, these are all imports. I don't think we've ever received an actual Phoenix Wright game over in the UK. At least, I mean, this one came out in... I can't remember what it was. I can't remember if it was like a... the physical was for PlayStation 4, but the Switch one physical was American only. So imported this one. And this one I bought in the UK, but I think again it's an import. This one's fantastic. So these two, this one's 1, 2, 3. This is 4, 5, 6. This is a spin-off that takes place after 1, 2, 3, and this one's its own prequel about 100 years earlier. This one is fantastic. This was the most recent one, but honestly, all fantastic games. I absolutely love them. I really need to play through Apollo Justice and Miles Edgeworth, but yeah, I played through like 1, 2, and 3, and these two last year, and just burned out instantly afterwards. Next up is Ghost Trick, which is made by the same people as Ace Attorney. Again, a fantastic, very fantastic one. You possess a lot of different items to try and get through puzzles and stuff like that. A very unique game. I don't think anybody talked about this one. I might put this one as an underrated gem, but yeah, it's a really good one. Next up we have some visual novel ones. I kind of group this as visual novels, like they kind of are, but they're also not. Valhall, VA11 Hall A is one of my favourite games of all time. I love the cyberpunk aesthetic, and this one is just one that I just absolutely love. I picked it up on the Vita, and I had to pick it up again on limited runs release. I don't really do that often, but yeah, I think this came out at the same time, and I think I kind of just threw it in with it. I've never played it, but I think there's a complete edition. I think there's like a sequel and there's a complete edition now out in PAL, because of course all these games get re-released, but hey, I didn't know that at the time, did I? Next up is Emio the Smiler Man, and honestly this might have been one of my favourite games of last year. This is absolutely fantastic. If you want a very dark visual novel title, this one needs to be on your list, and this is going to be a little bit of a tip in the future. I've got a sneaky feeling this one's going to get very expensive. It was very well received, nobody bought it. It's still fairly expensive, so yeah, it's one of those ones. Pick it up, because I think it's going to be expensive in the future. Doki Doki Literature Club, Danganronpa, Coffee Talk, and Coffee Talk 2. I can't really talk about much of these. I've played through Coffee Talk 1 and it's fine. It's kind of like a poor version of Valhalla. Doki Doki was one that a lot of people hyped up a few years ago, but it came with a lot of cool little extras, so yeah, I'm looking forward to playing through this one. Danganronpa is the trilogy. I've played through 1 and I played through half of 2, and then I got so angry at a certain point I just never played through 2. That was on the Vita. I've never played this one yet, but I want to. It's a lot of these games are like 30 hours long and just sitting there pressing A for the most part, so it's kind of a little bit draining, but I do love them. And we also have another Code Recollection. Not played it, but again it's another one I thought it's going to get expensive eventually. I'm going to have to try and get it. Monster Hunter, the little game that came and went. I loved Monster Hunter on the 3DS, and to me Monster Hunter will always be a handheld experience. I have a lot of nostalgia of playing these games on a handheld console and just really enjoying them. Never played any of these. Rise was supposed to be really good. I just never played it because I think I bought this for like cheap, but then the DLC came out and yeah, everyone was playing the DLC. Generations, I don't think I've played it. This was the 3DS one, but yeah, it's kind of a weird one because whenever a game comes out on the Nintendo Switch, they release a better version on the PlayStation, and yeah, it's kind of annoying. I'm very surprised that they didn't release the new game on the Nintendo Switch 2. I feel that was a really big, huge missed opportunity by Capcom, but hey, Capcom got a cap. Next up is Dead Cells. I played this a lot when it first came out, but never really got into it later on. Yeah, it's a fun one. I know there's like a Castlevania edition, which I am thinking of picking up, but then I also kind of remember I didn't really play a huge amount of this one. So yeah, maybe I will get back into it eventually. Ah, River City Girls. Now, this is another limited run one that I jumped through hoops to get, and a lot of people hyped it up, but again, think back, I never grew up with beat 'em up games. I didn't have any nostalgia for stuff like Turtles in Time and stuff like that. So when this came, I was kind of like, yeah, it's alright. I like it. I like it enough. It's a fun enough game, but it's not nearly as good as I was kind of expecting. And I'll keep eyeing up the new collection that they're doing, where it's River City Girls 1 and 2. But yeah, I own it. Hollow Knight, again, I didn't get into it. And I think that's quite bad, but I didn't really give it much of a chance. I maybe played for maybe half an hour when I was on my way somewhere else, and I was kind of like, I'm getting into this. I felt like it was, I don't know, I can't really remember much of it, but there was some reason I didn't enjoy it. I think there was like the map, or there wasn't like any direction of where to go, and I know that's kind of the point, but I don't know, I kind of felt like I was just wandering around and had no real direction personally, but yeah, that might just be me. I really want to try it because a lot of people love this one, and I really want to love it too. Taiko no Tsushin Drum and Fun. This has got the One Piece song, and I think Kimono Friends, if I remember rightly. Yeah, it was cheap again. It's one of those ones. Taiko Drums is just really fun. I don't have the drums, but it's a fun little rhythm game. I tried to get fit once. Loop Hero. Now, this is a game that I feel, again, I don't think it really gets much love. It came out on the Switch about 2 years ago, and basically you kind of have this loop, this little like path where you're going around, and then monsters will spawn on it, and then the monsters get more and more difficult, and you've got to level up, and you can place down little like traps and little villages and wood and stuff like that, which does different things to this like little loop that you're going on, and it kind of repeats until you get more and more stronger. I liked it, but again, it was one of those ones where I kind of eventually just kind of got bored of it. It just didn't get any further. Rayman Legends, I bought this one because it was getting harder to find an actual physical one, not a code in a box. I played the hell out of this on the Wii U though. One of my favourite games on the Wii U, an absolutely fantastic side-scrolling platforming game. Sword of the Vagrant. Now, this was sold to me as kind of a bit like Grim Grimoire, Odin Sphere, stuff like Dragon's Crown, stuff like that. And I can see it. I can see where they're coming from. I can see the design. It was fine. It was about 6 or 7 hours long. It was a fun little game. Again, underrated. I would probably recommend this if you guys want a fun little title. Don't know how expensive it is though. I think it's one of those ones where people are expecting it to go really up in price, but I don't think it's too badly priced at this point in time. Next up we have Metal Slug Tactics. I did talk about this one recently, and yeah, it's another tactics game. I probably should have put all these tactics games all together, but I did not. Galgun Returns. Ghostbusters. I'm not going to get too much into this one because again, this is one that I have talked about recently on the channel. It's Ghostbusters. It's got the main cast. It's got the voice actors, the actual film cast reprising their roles. This is basically Ghostbusters 3 until they made Afterlife, and yeah, it's fun. It's Ghostbusters. The Outer Wilds. Now, there's a reason I own this, and the reason being is that Amelia Watson, one of the people I really look up to in terms of streaming, she played through this, and I felt I had to own it. I haven't actually had a go on it, but I'm really looking forward to trying it out. It was a fantastic experience watching her playing it, and I felt I needed to own it on the back of that. Dave the Diver. I played this on New Year's Day and had a really good time with it, but I kind of just never went back to it. Again, another one that's on the list of return to. Cuphead. Oh, I like Cuphead. I'm terrible at Cuphead, but I want to not be terrible at it. Yeah, it's a really great game. Enter the Gungeon and Exit the Gungeon. I played a lot of Enter the Gungeon way back when it first came out on the Nintendo Switch, and I had a really good time with it. It's a roguelike twin stick shooter that is very, very difficult, and I didn't get very far, but again, this one was cheap, so I had to get a physical version. And this one, this is an underrated game. I don't see anybody talking about this one. If you love arcade games, check this one out. This This is part simulation, part arcade gaming. So this has got a lot of arcade games that have been rebuilt into a current game. But you also have a laundromat simulator on top. So basically you have an laundromat and eventually you start replacing a lot of the machines with arcade games. And then there's a story and everything on it. Check this one out. This is a really underrated title in my opinion. I really recommend this one. It's getting quite expensive and this was cheap. It's cheap on PlayStation, but it is getting quite more and more expensive on the Nintendo Switch, so definitely check it out. Token Rambo. I've never played this game. Overcooked II. I really like Overcooked. I really wish I got the first one. I don't know if the first one actually does have a physical, but this one doesn't have a physical anymore. I think it's all code in the box, but yeah, this is a really good game. This is a serve 'em up where you kind of a very fun party game where everyone's jumping on top of each other, just try and get things, the plates out. There's been a lot of arguments over this game, but I really like it. This next one is a bit of a darling along. I know a lot of other YouTubers have been picking this one up. I don't have much nostalgia for Pocky and Rocky as a franchise, if I'm perfectly honest, but I had a good enough time with this one. At the time it was fairly cheap, but I didn't really play much of it. But again, this is one of the very first ones I picked up when I started collecting the Switch again. I was expecting it to be expensive down the line. I don't think it's too expensive at the moment though, but yeah, I enjoyed what I played with it, but I kind of feel like, I think there's a few Pocky and Rocky games, I kind of wish that they did it like more of a collection than just kind of the one. But that might just be me. Diablo 3. I like Diablo 3, it's a fun game, I played a good few hours of it, but honestly, overall, I just never really got into it. Kotodama, The Seven Mysteries of Fuji Sawa. I've never played it. It's sealed. This was like a £2 game at one point. Yeah, it's anime, so it's probably going to be fairly expensive down the line. It could be. Lumo, Moonlighter, and Little Dragon's Cafe. At one point, Argos were doing like 2 for 20 or something, and I just went out and bought these games. Don't really have much of an opinion. This game didn't really want to work. It really just chugged along. This is an isometric one, like what's it called? Monster Max and Batman, Sylvester and Tweety, stuff like that. That was kind of around the NES, Game Boy Color days. Doesn't really hold up in this modern day. This is a great game, but I kind of got to a certain point and I was that like rich. I just kind of felt that there was no reason to go back and play it. And Tetris Forever. This one is a collection of Tetris games, and I think it was kind of like they couldn't justify releasing them as their own separate Tetris games, so they released it as kind of like a collection. It's fine. I like that there's a little documentary. There's like documentary stuff in here where it kind of tells you like the history of Tetris and stuff like that, and the history of some of these games. It's got some of the more obscure Tetris games like Tetris Blast on there, but yeah, it's fine. Unless you really want to play some like the very early versions of Tetris, I would maybe suggest skipping this one over. But if you love Tetris, I think it's worth at least the pickup. Tito Milestones and Pepper Grinder, I have recently talked about on the channel. They're fun games. I really like them. But yeah, there's nothing really more to say than I haven't said already. Sea of Stars. Now, Sea of Stars is a game that a lot of people really hyped up for me, and then I heard a lot of negative things about it. It was cheap on Amazon at one point, so I just picked it up. In the same talking about cheap, we also have Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Now, I was going to try and go for a Lego collection. However, Lego for me, I have a lot more nostalgia on the PlayStation, and the reason being is that a lot of those Lego games are easy platinums. So I own this on the PlayStation 5 because I think it came with the console. But yeah, I don't remember buying this, but it's in the collection. Celeste. Another game that is getting fairly expensive to buy now. I think a lot of these fan gamer ones are fairly expensive. I had a good time with this. I wasn't blown away with it like everybody else was, but I did have a really good time with it. It is a very, very decent game. Next up is Dredge. I really like this one. Again, this is another one I expected to be quite expensive, but I think it's kind of maintained its price. It's never went down, but it's never went up in price. You basically play as a fisherman, and you've got to fish up strange things in this horror game. Yeah, it's a horror. It's kind of horror, but I love this one. It's very atmospheric. I want to go through it again and try it. I know there was DLC that came out that was very well received, so yeah, that is on my list. La Mulana 1 and 2, a very difficult game. Very difficult game indeed. Again, this is another one where I kind of was like, oh, I better buy it because it's going to get expensive eventually. I think the limited run or something release of this one is stupidly expensive, but yeah, this is one that a lot of people hyped up years ago, and I just randomly released on the Nintendo Switch, so I was just like, oh yeah, I'll pick it up. I very much enjoyed it. It's a very difficult game, but it's a very good one. Atari 50, I don't really have much comments. It's a bit like that Tetris Effect where it's a lot of Atari games where they couldn't really release them as single releases. But if you want the history of Atari, this one's worth picking up. They've done so many of this one. I'm sure this was a revision of an earlier release, and now there's another revision which has got even more stuff on, so I'm not buying it again. I'm happy with this one. Death Smile 1 and 2 is a shmup, and it was fairly expensive at the time, but if I'm honest, never played it. Probably is fairly expensive now, but it might be good. Next up are the Shante Games. Now, I've only managed to pick up these two because everything got blanket released under limited run. I think this one is obviously a import from somewhere. I'm assuming Asia. This one I love. I love this one. This is one of the very first games I played through on the Nintendo Switch, and it was one of these games that just made me just... It was just a really pleasant experience all the way through. So I kind of wanted to pick up all of the other ones, but they're all very expensive, which is very sad indeed. Next up, we have some of our big box games, which are Super Bullet Break. This is a kind of okay game. You kind of like get the girl, save the world. This is a bunch of different types of games where they kind of merge them together into one game, and it's roguelike, so you get randomized girls, and I thought it was going to be like a Breakout clone, but it's kind of its own thing. It was cheap at the time, but I think again another one where they're getting a little bit more expensive. I didn't really have much feelings of it though. It was kind of like one of those games where I played it and I was just like, oh yeah, this is fine. This is a game, I guess. But yeah, there's nothing really to see about it. Next up is Worms Armageddon Anniversary Edition. I think this is kind of expensive now. Now this has got a bunch of little doodahs and extra stuff in, but at the time I was on a Worms kick, so I thought I needed to pick it up, and I'm glad I did. I think it's getting a re-release as just the game by itself, but yeah, this is another one where it just went really expensive all of a sudden, and I think it was fairly hard to get on launch. I think I bought and then it sold out more or less straight away, but if you want Worms Armageddon on the Nintendo Switch, it's a good release. Next up is Tunic, another game that people really hyped up, much like Celeste, and I really enjoyed my time with it. It's a bit like Legend of Zelda, as you can probably expect, except you don't have a manual. You've kind of got to learn everything as you go on. It's a very difficult game, but yeah, I had a good time with it. Again, this is what I played so much of and then just kind of stopped and never went back to it. I really do want to go back to it. And the next two are Dusk Diver and Our World Is Ended. Now, I got these for Christmas one year, and if I'm honest, I haven't even opened this one. But Dusk Diver I played through on Christmas Day, and I just don't have any memory of this game. I really have no memory of this game. I think I enjoyed it. I just kind of don't remember anything about it. It's just a bit of a shame, and I think that's one of the worst things you can see about a game. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad. It was forgettable, and I think that, especially if you go through and complete the entire game, I think that's a bit of a poor experience. Next up we come to the imports, and we have Wargroove 1 and 2, and honestly these are very fun games. So this is basically the medieval version of Advance Wars, and honestly I had a really good time with it. I haven't played the second one because I never finished the first one, but I am really enjoying it. I'm going to go back to it because again, like Advance Wars, I kind of just dropped it randomly and I want to go back to them. Next up is one of my favourite games of all time, and that is Okami. This one on PlayAsia went really cheap all of a sudden, so I was already ordering some stuff from PlayAsia, so I threw it in. I've had a go on it on the Nintendo Switch, and I played about an hour. I want to get back into it, but it's one of those ones where I can't justify replaying Okami for maybe, what, the sixth time, as opposed to playing, you know, like Wargroove 2 or Tunic, which I've never played through altogether. I'm happy it's in my collection. Don't know if I ever go back through it, though. But then again, the second one's coming out, so I kind of feel like I maybe have to. And it's always a good game, so. Bunny Garden! Ah, yes, the whole life got very addicted to this Bunny Garden game. So this is basically a waifu game. This is basically, you go to these, like, clubs, and there's these girls, and they chat to you, and... yeah, it's a Guna game, if that's what you kind of want to call it. But you know what? I had quite a bit of fun with it. It's nothing special, and it's not going to appeal to the majority of people, but you know what? I think if you see this and you're importing something from PlayAsia and you need another game, this one or Okami should be on your list. Next up are two games that I imported and they got English releases. So this is Overlord. I love the Overlord light novels. I like the anime. And yeah, this is a Castlevania kind of one where you play as a horrible person trying to escape from there. It's a bit of a mixed message, but it's one that I liked. I played about an hour, I liked it, but then I was kind of like, why play this instead of just Castlevania? It does have an English release now, so yeah. This is Needy Streamer Overclocked or Overlord or something like that. It's got a different name. I probably shouldn't mention the other name, the Japanese name, because it might get me kind of blocked. But yeah, this is kind of, you have a streamer girl and you've kind of got to raise her, like kind of Digimon kind of thing. I bought it. I haven't had a chance to go on it, but it's one of those ones where I always want to try and play it. Next up, these two games are ones that were super cheap at some point on PlayAsia, so I just picked them up. I was getting very much into these horror classic ones, and yeah, I picked them up. This game started off fantastic, and then just kind of just threw everything out the window. It mentions Cyberpunk, but it's not really a Cyberpunk game. The first maybe 10 minutes are. And again, another one, it's very boo-baba, but yeah, it's not the best. I've not touched this one. I don't know, I can't remember anything about it. I heard good things about it, but yeah. And last up we have Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, because I love the Dragon Maid franchise, and this is a shmup. And yeah, I played about an hour of it, and it's a fun game. Probably not one I would really recommend importing or going out your way for, but again, it was a fun little title. That is the end of my Nintendo Switch collection. Now, this is obviously an ongoing project, so it might be another year when we look and see, oh, I've got 300 titles. As always, if there's a title that I have missed, a title that you think needs to be in my collection, let me know in the comments. And if you like this, make sure you stay tuned for more Nintendo Switch pickups, more retro games, and I'm going to look at some rare and obscure and underrated titles in the next few weeks. See you there.